All right, guys, we're over here at Richard's, and the guy that's doing all of our engineering work on the FJ doors. So I don't know if I've announced it yet, but we're calling it the Buddy Window System. So a lot of stuff to report, but for now, I think what we're going to do is just do a quick preview of how the build is going so far on our two donor doors that we purchased from the wrecking yard, and give you kind of an inside look on where we stand on the build. So. All right, guys. So not only is the FJ here, but we also have our Ken Mary. This is our '75 Skyline, and we had custom shocks. Apexi built some custom coilovers for this car, so we've already installed them on the rear. You can kind of see the ride height in the rear. The front, we're still working on the front, but what's going to happen next on this project is we already have purchased flares for it, and Richard's going to do all the cutting to the fenders and the quarters. I know, to all you guys out there that are believers in keeping everything original, that's not what I have plans for this car. I searched for this car for a long time to find a clean one. So yeah, it's got virgin fenders or virgin quarters now, but that's going to be changing here soon. But kind of excited. Our new ride height looks great, and can't wait to see how the front coilover kit is going to come out. So big plans for this build. This is going to have an RB26. Pretty significant build. Alex will be able to give all the details on that one, but pretty excited about it. Big plans. All right, let's check out the FJ. So we're here at BSide Fabrication. Richard is the guy that we've got commissioned to do this entire all the fab work and build on the FJ doors. So as I mentioned outside, we are calling it the Buddy window. We're going to refer to it as the Buddy window. What I wanted to do is just kind of share with you guys where we stand on the build. I know that there's a lot of fans tuning in on this build, and there's a lot of interest in these doors and these windows. And when we originally built the original doors back in 14, 15, we didn't really plan on going into production. We had just had this idea, and we wanted to see if we could make it work. And so now we're taking a completely different approach. This new approach is literally redoing everything we did from the beginning, but Richard's focus in his engineering background, we're looking at it from the perspective of going into full production. So we're taking a little bit more time on the build. As you know, as I indicated earlier, we purchased two junkyard doors. This is one of those junkyard doors. I do have some Lexan glass that I had made off of our original design. It's flexible glass, and it allows us to experiment with the entire process. So just listen in. Richard and I are going to just kind of talk about kind of where we stand on where we're at and what's next. But if you look at this door, I didn't have this off before, but again, part of the idea here is to keep all of the metal work and repair work and modifications done to the top side of this belt molding. And the reason for that is because if we have two options, we can modify, people can modify their original doors, or we could literally build brand new doors, which will require paint. And of course, now FJs are in this country are older. The paint has discolored over the years, and getting the rear quarter panel and the front door to match is obviously an issue. It's always going to be a problem. And so if we don't have to do any paint work on this skin, we won't have a matching problem. So when this door goes on, it's not going to look like an Audi R8 carbon fiber door, stands out like a sore thumb. It will actually match. But worst case scenario, whoever ultimately decides to go with the Buddy window system, they're going to have to identify, okay, if we buy a complete door, and those are things that Richard and I are talking about. We're trying to decide. Option one is we go out and buy inventory of 20 sets of FJ doors, 10 sets of FJ doors, and pre-modify those doors to accommodate the window system. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you real quickly. So Richard, so here's what I'm thinking, right? Here's where we're at. As you guys can tell here, also, let me just show you this real quickly, okay? So if you look at this door from the outside, there was metal here, right? there was metal here. You've got this metal here. Just to give you an idea on how these original windows. Let me grab this window glass. So this is the original window glass, right, from an FJ. That kind of gives you an idea how much landscape we're working with here. This actually had a metal strip in here. We actually removed this metal strip on the inside. That was cut off. But although this window looks big, you really only have this much space if you were working within the confines of this window. So putting that aside, you could see the angle that we need to strive for in our window glass. So I did actually have a window manufacturer manufacture us glass off of our first build, and we have those in stock. So the reason why there's a little skinny door or skinny window, let me grab that piece also. In our original design, right? Let's see, how am I doing this? Is it this way or is it the other way? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is kind of how I had it set up. And if you wonder, a lot of people were asking, why is this little small window here, and why does it sit like this? Well, the idea is the channel. You only have so much space because you have this jamb in the back, and of course, this is the basic amount of space we're going to have for our window. And the window is going to retract inside this opening, and of course, the reason why we couldn't go all the way down is the window would only come down to about here, because we just didn't have enough space for it to retract into. I wanted the window to come all the way down to the belt molding, and in doing that, we had to narrow it up, and I put this little fake window in here, and you'll see that in the other videos. It kind of finishes it off, gives it that OE look. So with that being said, what's next is to build our channels on the inside. Richard has done an amazing job. So talk to me, walk me through this process here.
Like you just mentioned, so we're taking the doors and I'm using the original process that was taken.
Okay.
Taking all your old photos, diagrams that you gave me, and trying to make something that takes not so much hacking, where you keep a lot of the original structure of the door. Like this original corner where the corner glass goes, that was originally hacked out and a whole new piece was made. So I'm trying to save that structure and just design something new that just drops over or takes just less work.
Got it.
Going forward, it's all the work's being done now to have less work in the future to make this a product that actually can be sold.
Yeah, and that's the idea, because we bounced ideas off of each other, right? One of the ideas was to build a template and do cutouts showing people precisely where to cut all of the metal off the backside of the door shell. The problem is that in building a regulator system, so if you look at this, right, this is a cutout from the Ford F-150. This is the inside of the door panel of the Ford F-150 that kind of originally gave us this idea. You could see the regulator, the retraction device, the motor. This obviously pulls the window down. The window sits up here, and it just kind of hides into the door skin. And this area, this stuff is what we've had to integrate inside the FJ door. And in doing that, when we did our original build, we just wanted to see if we can do it. And we an enormous amount of time and labor went into that. And so what we're doing right now, and what the idea is Richard has built these panels. He's already accommodated this regulator system to fit within the confines of this door skin. And, and that's what we're going to show you. We're just kind of giving you an update. I want to give you guys a heads up on what goes into this build and how we're going to sell these, because honestly, I don't have all the answers. This is kind of new to us. I'm not in the production door business. None of us are. So I think that the FJ is a vehicle that desperately needs this. People that have dogs or people that have kids that feel like they can't look out the back windows or get air, it's a must. So going through these extra steps and building a pre-drop-in unit is going to save us a lot of time and legwork. But it's costly at this point to get there. We're just looking at all of our options. And so there's still channels, right, Richard? We still have the channels to put in here, correct?
Yeah,
We're
there's
still building our
so
frame
the
channels.
current state of the door, how it sits now, is me just kind of reverse engineering from what my starting and end point should be, and I think I should get the whole assembly working within the door, and then making that fit to the current structure of the door. So right now we have our panels.
These are new. You built these.
Yeah,
these are all custom built by Richard, and these will likely stay. So this panel system will stay, right?
Yeah, like probably get a new refresh, some roll some beads in to make them just stronger.
Okay.
Because we are going to cut a little more into them just to have access to parts that might need to be replaced in the future. That's why right now the panels are 2 pieces.
And I love that. That was one of the things that I mentioned, and he came up with it immediately. In the event a window regulator motor or a motor goes out, you don't have to pull the entire door off. You could literally take the door panel off, remove these panels, and you'll have easy access to the power window motor to replace it, right?
So right now you can remove the top section of this, and your motor sits behind these 3 bolts that will flip around shortly. But we have to just make just holes to, like, here you have your 2 10 mil bolts to mount the glass, and I need access to that so I can design my sliders to guide the glass up and down.
Right.
But yeah, as soon as the next process happens where I get this working straight up and down, then we're gonna move on and create the guides, the 2 corners and top side to hold the glass within, and then once that's centered, then we turn it back over and then have your finished side,
right,
what everyone wants to see.
Yeah, so what you're seeing right now is, of course, there's no door panel. The factory door panel will not fit on this, obviously, because we've made some modifications to the back side of this. I do have a custom-made door panel that will fit on the back of this. I am going to have it modified to accommodate these new panels that have been placed on here. This thing you see here, that's factory, that's OEM, that's the carrier for your seatbelt assembly, and your SRS modules and things fit in here. So that relatively, we didn't want to touch that. We didn't want to have make any changes to the structural integrity of the seatbelt system, so that stays in place. Yeah, so again, we have different approaches, and as this is a kind of a very liquid situation right now. There's things moving, and there's lots of dynamics. As we're building this in mind of doing full production, we're looking at our options. So we may very well just have Richard and his team, pre-build all of the assemblies, and I sell the window system kit separately from the door shells. That's something that we're talking about. It'll just make life a lot easier. The problem is that you're gonna have to paint your door skins. And in addition to painting the door skins, you're gonna have to take your old doors off, or have a shop in your area take your old doors off, and then transfer all the components. Transfer the seatbelt assemblies directly from your old door onto the new door. All of the moldings, all of the clips. We will also include a wiring loom that can be, plumbed into the door, onto the dash for switches. There's lots of moving parts here, and so I just wanted to spend a few minutes and kind of show you guys kind of where we're at. We are actively working on it. These are the 2 junkyard doors. The white FJ we purchased. We'll be modifying those doors as well, and I am seriously considering just stockpiling new FJ doors and pre-building the shells to accommodate this new buddy window system. So. Can you think of anything else? I mean, any other challenges that you see?
No, all the challenges are just going forward. Like, this might not be the final product. I might run into another problem, or realize, like, oh, I could have done this better, and just go back and redesign everything. The whole idea right now is just to get a product that works and ultimately looks good.
Right. Our goal is to achieve what we achieved on the very first build. So it has an exact OEM look. I want, and we'll achieve that. Because Richard's taking the extra time, and I will tell you that in the other door system we built, it was just kind of rudimentary. We kind of went completely on our own, had nothing to gauge it on, and so we had to do a lot of filler work. We had to clean up with Mondo. The idea here is to have to use very little filler at all to achieve our end result. So having the frame done and the welds nice and tight is going to make for a really, really clean door. And interestingly enough, I don't know if you guys see this or not, but what's kind of cool, in the United States, because I know we have a lot of followers in other countries, but on the driver's door, this is the right side door. So for us, it's our passenger door. But on the driver's door, there is a federal motor vehicle safety label that has to be affixed, and it has the VIN number, and it has important information about the vehicle. And of course, law enforcement agencies in the United States use that label as an identifying mark label. There's still a public display VIN on the dash, but I do have a company that for about $75 will remanufacture that label if you provide a photo proof of the original label. So if you do end up replacing the doors, we will be able to achieve original Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard labels to be reaffixed on the car, so you don't have that issue to worry about. And from here up, this whole area from the factory is just black vinyl tape. So if we end up remanufacturing your used door and we don't have to do paint work on this skin, then this area up here is pretty much all covered by black vinyl tape. If you look at your FJ, you'll notice that this area is just black vinyl tape. And so we will retape this, and if the repair work is done under this molding line, which is our plan, of course, I'm going to buy a bunch of these new moldings, because as these FJs get older, they start to deteriorate these things. But if we can keep it above this line, we won't have to do any paint or body work, and you'll be able to achieve your original panel. But that's something we'll discuss later. Right now, we want to get our systems in place. We want to come up with a literally drop-in system, and of course, if the doors have been pre-modified to handle it, then we could spit these out pretty quick. So listen, guys, thanks for tuning in. Can you think of anything else? We're just plugging along, and this is the one door, and then we're going to jump on the other door. The thing is it's their opposites, so you can't use the componentry from this door into the other door because it's all reversed, it's mirrored. So we're just going to have to do all of the calculating to mirror the other side, and of course we'll spit that out.
Yeah, it just makes the third door even better.
Yeah, right.
Everything just gets cleaner the more you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the idea, that at the end, it takes me one try or it takes me a dozen, the final product is going to be the final good product.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of questions. A lot of you are going to ask, how much is this going to cost? And in all honesty, you guys could see, I have no idea. We don't know the answers to that yet. Once we have our plan of attack down on how we're going to achieve this in terms of production numbers, I'll be able to give you a real accurate number. But for now, I know what the cost is for all of our glass production. I know what the cost is for our door panel production. We can go carbon fiber, we can go fiberglass. I know those costs. I know how much these belt moldings cost. I know how much new rubbers cost. That's not a problem. What we don't have the answer to yet, even the window regulators, if we go with the Ford product, yes, we could use Toyota, but we've modeled this off of the F-150 regulator, and it's a great system. I know what the regulators cost. I know how much the power window unit motors are. So that's not a problem. The problem is how much of the door skin is going to cost. What is it going to take to get those shells converted to accommodate this new window system? And then, ideally, Richard's going to manufacture the buddy window system as one unit. And, again, so right now, I don't have the exact answer, but we're working on it. And wanted to share this with you. So, please, stay tuned. As more stuff comes out, I will certainly share it with you. Please give us your comments. I'd love to hear your comments, and please give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. There's a lot more content coming on this build, and I can't wait to share it with you. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Thank you.